our revision. Our topic today is going to be on composition, and letter writing is one of the key aspects of that composition. We have essay and letter writing, but for now, let's reflect back to what we did in our previous class. Remember we said that the paper tray is made up of speech sounds, that is speech sounds. There we treated vowel sounds. We concerned ourselves with the central vowel sounds. Remember what we said about vowel sounds, that they are 20 in number, divided into monotones and diphthongs. We have 12 monotones and 8 diphthongs that we sorted out ourselves at home. So now we went on to discuss the 3 central vowel sounds, which are very, very problematic to non-speakers, non-native speakers of English language, that we're able to take care of something, added to our knowledge in classes before this unfortunate incident in the world. So let's come back to the topic for today. I hope we're all okay. Like letter writing, we always talk about a discussion between two persons who are separated by distance on a particular issue. I don't need to even tell us about the features, because from what we learned before now, we know that letter writings are different from what essay writing. We know the features, but I think our concern today will be on just the letter writing, the formal and informal. We'll look at the format, or what we call the outline. I'll make a sketch and then we'll try to fill it up. Look at this. If we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this, okay, and then we have this, no one lies right place, and then finally we have this. We can all fill this up. This is the format for, let's say the outline for what? Formal or informal letters? Formal letters. So here we have what? The writer's address, and what? And date. We all know how to write our addresses now. Worst come to worst. The worst case comes out, you can write the school's address. As we go on with this, I want you to represent over something. Remember, we said each point of call or contact on your address should be on a separate line, and each word that make up that should be written in capital letter at the beginning. Take for instance, okay, let's not waste our time on that, because I know even, come on, you two, you know much about your address. We'll come back to that when we work it together. So, but for here we have what? The writer's address and the date. Then the next thing is you have this part, which is for what? The receiver's what? Address. Remember how we partitioned this? We say the first part is usually what? Receiver's designation. And then you break it with a comma. Then the next one, the second part will be the receiver's address. The address, that is the office, or the point where you can access or mail the receiver. We'll come to that too. Then the next box under here is what? Our salutation. Remember, you end it with what? A comma. Remember what our salutation is, we'll come back to that. Then after the salutation we have what we call the title or the topic. Some others will say is what will we call it? Some will say is what? The heading of the letter. Then down here, please don't mind this, but we know we have what? The body, which is divided into what? The first part is the introduction. Remember what we said about our introduction? That the introduction will cover just two parts, which are what? Introducing who? The writer. And then what? The reason or purpose for writing. Is that okay? Then under the body we also have what? The main body, or what we call what? Detail. And finally, the last part of the body is the conclusion. That aside, then the last part here is what we call what? Some others will call it complementary close, whereas some will call it what? Others will call it concluding salutation, some others will call it what? A closing, or it all depends on you. But I've told us that we always refer to it as what? The complementary what? Close, where you always sign off. You say what? Yours, and for formal letter you have this as what? Yours faithfully, you have your signature to follow, and then your name in full. I hope you feel this all. Yes, when you're done with filling up of this diagram, let's look at the other diagram, because writing it boils down to what you feel about the topic or the title or the heading. Is that okay? That is what makes you write and write and write, except if you don't have anything concerning that title to write on. That is where you have the challenge of writing a formal letter. So now let's say the diagram that will lead us to what? The informal letter. Or probably let me just leave it. From this diagram, you can remove that part that we don't need when writing informal letter. Like first, writing informal letter, let's just spare ourselves the time and the stress. First, if you're going to informal letter, you have to take this off completely. How am I making point? And most informal letters do not concern itself with this. What is this part? We call it what? The title or the topic or heading. We don't need it when we come to what? Informal letter. You don't need to be formal in any case when you're discussing with somebody you're familiar with. So now what else is it that we need to take out of this place? Nothing. Here, the writer, you don't need to really introduce yourself because that is not what we're out for. The reason for writing must be there when you write. Because for every writer, there must be a purpose. There must be a rationale behind whatever topic you're writing on or when you're discussing with someone. So now let's say this. Apart from the writer, what do you need to introduce there? Under your introduction, you need to find out how this person feels. But how would you do that? How would you find out how the person feels? You need to ask how the person is faring. That is you're showing concern. To who? The receiver. You need to know how the person fares. You need to know how people around him or her are faring. By that, you get to know how this person is what? Feeling. You also need to express your emotion. What is it that you feel the moment you pick this to write? When you pick this to write, your paper or whatever, you have something running in you. You have an emotion towards this person. Take for instance, you write it to your mom. After being away from home for some time, you want to find out something from your mom or you want to ask for something. Do you just go straight to do that? No. That's how you feel towards your mom at that particular point in time. The same thing with your dad, your siblings, and then your friends. So that needs to come in. We always need to bring that in because you need to be creative in this case. And that is the essence of what? This test. They want to see how creative you can be. Fill the part in. Your emotion, certain. The reason for writing, certain. Am I communicating? So when you have this ones ready, then the next thing is what? Let's come back to this and see what it looks like. When you come to complementary clause for informal letters, it is just like restating what you stated as a salutation. For informal letter, if you write it to your mom, you say something like what? Sweetest. Sweetest what? Mom. This I don't need to tell you how to go about it. You know, I'll write that. So now you've said that your mom is the sweetest to you. So now when you're coming down, what is the link? What is the connection between this point and this point? At this point, you're stating what the relationship that exists between the writer and the receiver. So if your mom in this case is sweet mom, then the letter is from who? Howard. What? If you like, you say what? Sweet daughter, or sweet son, or wonderful child. So, when we have this place, you can fill it up. But before we go down there, I wish to try something at home. Check the 2018, 2019 white past question. Check the questions on letter writing and then attempt something. We'll meet in the next class. I hope you stay safe. Take care of yourself.